When you live in a small town, everyone knows where you've been and what you have done. I've been trying to leave this old town since I...
Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I'm Zada.
And I'm Kelly. And you're listening to
Two Sides and the Truth.
All right, we got some catching up to do.
I don't even have my headset on. Did you notice?
No, I did not notice. I barely had mine on. I was like, oh, I'm not going to be able to hear myself. I need to put that on.
I'm joining the podcast now. Continue.
Well, so I wanted to do a little update on my therapy because I like to keep y'all updated on my therapy sessions. So the last time that I had because I do challenges basically. There's a couple of things that I put on my list to challenge myself to try and do. And then if I can do it, I try to make it into a routine because they're all good things. Some of them are small, some of them are big. The last one was putting on lotion after I get out of the shower. That didn't go so great. But so putting on lotion has been a part of my therapy since I started therapy. It was like literally step one because I have such a thing with touch. I'm so touch sensitive. Like I don't even like touching myself. I don't even like having to wash my body and do I don't like it. I do it because you have to do it, for personal hygiene, but I hate every minute of doing it. And I don't like people touching me or anything like that. So to start working on my touch sensitivity, I had to start putting on lotion every day. And that was hard for me to do at first. Like, it's something that I can do now.
I have a texture issue with lotion, so I understand.
Yeah.
But I like to lotion my body.
I do too.
But I have to be in the right setting.
I've gotten to the point where I really enjoy the end product of it, and I'm always happy that I did it because I like the way it feels after you put lotion on, and I like knowing that I did something good for myself.
Right.
But the actual process of it has been a journey.
Right.
So now I can do it. I'm supposed to do it in the morning and in the evening time, but I consider it a win if I put it on at any point throughout the day.
Yeah.
So the putting on lotion after you get out of the shower was like a stretch. It was like, okay, let's take this a step further. This is something that's become easy for you, so let's make it a little bit more challenging. And technically, putting on lotion when you get out of the shower is supposed to help it absorb more into your skin or whatever the science is behind it. I don't know. Kind of malarkey in my eyes, but whatever. I guess they know what they're talking about. But it did not work for me. I cannot put lotion on wet skin. I can't do it. I cannot do it. That was a hard pass. I tried it and I was like, nope, this is not for me. And so the next step was so I have this like terry cloth robe kind of thing that I put on when I get out of the shower. So instead of automatically just wiping down with the towel and getting completely dry, I will just put that on and not like dry myself off, but not just be sopping wet,
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah.
I put on my robe and I go into my dressing room and I sit down and I have my hair up in a towel. So like at this point I'm not dry, but I'm not, fresh out of the shower. So that was kind of like the halfway point. I was like, okay, now we'll try it now. Because still my skin is still damp. So I would imagine
I have all these same issues. I have a light version.
I feel like
it's a texture thing.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people do, especially I know that especially people that have like ADHD have texture issues and things like that too. And so I
also am a doomsdayer in my head, and I'm thinking if someone tries to kill me right now, I have lotion all over my hands.
I'll be slippery.
And I'm
get out of it.
I'm thinking I'll have a hard time holding a weapon.
Oh,
that's where my brain
I'm thinking
goes.
I'll be slippery. I can slip out of their hands.
You. Half glass empty, half glass full. I'm clearly half empty.
Well, it could go either way.
Yeah, I legit have thought that many times. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Continue.
That's fine. So I did that a couple of times where I put on the lotion in that point. And it was easier to do, but I also noticed that my skin started like flaking. Like I need to like dead skin coming off, basically. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I hate this. But my therapist was like, well, you need to exfoliate. You need to exfoliate your skin.
Oh shoot! So now you got to use something
because
scrubby?
And I was like, well, I do kind of. I mean, because I put on when I'm in the shower and I'm washing, I have a loofah to get a good, suds going, and I put that all over my body and scrub, and then I get a washcloth and I scrub with a washcloth too. So I'm like, I would think that would exfoliate good enough. And she's like, no, you actually need to focus on, you need to get an exfoliating scrub and get an exfoliating brush and exfoliate your skin. And I was like, that sounds like medieval torture to me. What are you talking about? She's like, yeah. And I have used exfoliating stuff when I've gotten a pedicure before. I can't do it to myself. I've tried to give myself a pedicure with the exfoliating scrub, and that texture, I cannot do it. I can't hold that stuff in my hand and make myself rub it on my body. I can't do it. Yeah. I can only do it for a second. I'm like, nope, I can't. And so I always stop. So I've never tried to do it anywhere other than my feet because, no, that's not happening. Right. And she's like, no, you need to try. You need to exfoliate. That's why your skin's doing that, is because you need to exfoliate it. You need to get rid of those layers of dead skin. And then when you go to put your lotion on, it won't do that because all the dead skin layers will be off and it will just be smooth skin. It's good for your skin. Your skin will look better. It will feel better. You'll be, So I'm like, okay, I understand that, but I just don't think that I'm actually going to be able to do it.
So did you do it?
I haven't. I bought the stuff because she's like, well, then the only other option is to go to a spa and have somebody else do it. I'm like, yeah, okay, you're
That's
high.
what I would vote
You're
for.
high right now. You're telling that to the person who can't even go and get a facial? You think I'm going to be able to let them scrub my whole body? Yeah, right.
Who was the other day? Somebody else was telling me that they can't handle pedicures. Somebody the other day was telling me that. I was telling, so was Kelly's the same
I cannot do it. I can do it. I have done it before a handful of times. I always have to have a support person there.
One time.
I have to have somebody there that can distract me and talk to me while it's happening. And even then, I have to admit a lot of stuff. I'm like, no, I don't want you scrubbing. I don't want you doing that. I don't want the massage. I don't They're like, what? You just want me to paint your toes? Yeah, that's basically.
No, I'm the opposite. I'm like, get that heel real good.
Keep going. I'll tell you when to stop.
Yeah, another glass of wine, please.
We're going to have a safe word.
I really don't even have to ask for the wine. They're like, Zada, you want 2, 3 glasses? I'm like, 3.
one here, and one in my hand.
We're all best friends. When I call, I don't even tell them who I am. They're like, hello, Zada. Yes, yeah, we'll get you in right now. I'm there weekly. I love those people.
So to not have to go to a spa, I went and got me some today. I went and got some exfoliating scrub, and I got an exfoliating mitt. So this goes on your hand.
Might help.
I thought it might. I was like,
that's a good idea because you don't have to touch the actual product.
Yeah. So that was in my head. I was like, this might be a win.
Yeah.
But I'm worried about the way it's going to actually feel on my skin because it's still going to be touching my skin. Right. So I'm like, but maybe, I don't know. We're going to see how it goes. So that is my new challenge that I am focusing on, is to now exfoliate my skin, which might sound weird for it to be a hard thing to do, but in my brain,
I think more people will understand than you think, because we all have little weird, idiosyncrasy. What's the word?
Idiosyncrasy?
That's the word.
I don't know what the word is.
You were closer than me. That one. We all have little weird things, kind of like me, where when I go to sit at lunch, I think if I get stuck here for the next week, will I be comfortable sleeping here? And so I have to pick a place that I can sleep.
That's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
I have a lot of other weird things like that, too. One of them we're going to discuss when I start discussing catching up, which is another similar thing, but continue.
Yeah, but that's one of the reasons that I do like talking about it on the podcast, because you never really know who that's going to, hit a chord with. Right. Like, oh, my gosh, yes, I'm the same exact way.
Well, just like on the Kid Craddock show, they have that segment that's, Does This Make Me Crazy?
Yeah.
And sometimes I'm like, I do the same thing.
I really hope it doesn't.
Okay, there's one more reason I'm crazy.
So true. So true.
What else you got going on?
The only other funny, well, it's not really.
You did something fun this weekend. You did something.
I did. Okay, so I finally got to get into a body of water.
Wait, do we have a Cheers one? I don't think we even do.
I don't think we have one
Y'all,
anymore.
we don't ever play the sound effects because we don't have them memorized, but they came with the equipment and they're from somebody else's podcast, but they're fucking funny.
Yeah.
And we're going to steal them right now so people can hear it. I don't even know which one I'm posting.
Do this one.
Oh, you know which one. Okay, go.
Where is the champagne tower? Where the hell is the music? We're supposed to be popping bottles, baby. Popping bottles. Now, granted, we gave the party to a rookie. So, yes, this party is a travesty. You hate to see it.
Okay. We don't even know. They're so random.
Party is a travesty.
So instead of doing claps and audience applause, we're going to pick random buttons.
But I'm so happy. Dante really made me happy this weekend. And I think, because I talked to him about, my struggles and so he gets it. And he was just trying to make me happy this weekend. So he took me out to the movies, which is one of my favorite things to do. If I'm not in water, I want to go on a movie date. So we went on a movie date and we went and saw the new Deadpool, which was absolutely ridiculous, but very funny and entertaining. Definitely not for kids. I was sitting next to someone who was entirely too young to be watching that movie.
Well,
though,
and I've never watched
say.
any of those. I don't watch movies, as you know, and I don't know anything about any of it. I don't know anything about Deadpool, nothing at all. But I do know that he does a lot of stuff that's risque.
Yes.
And so I did see TikToks this time where people were like, oh my God, we had to leave immediately. It's not the same Deadpool you know. Actually, I don't even know Deadpool, and I knew that. Like, what rock were they living under?
He definitely pushes the envelope with each movie. Like, the first one was like in your face, like, whoa. The second one was a step further, and this one was even a step further. So I can understand, but at the same time, if you watched the number 1 and number 2, you knew what you were getting into. Right. I'm sorry, but you did.
And it's Ryan Reynolds, so I just find that really funny because he's like Canada's sweetheart.
I know. It's so funny to know what's under that mask, and it's hilarious to me. And also, I did notice, I told Dante, I was like, I feel like they are like competing with Scarface on the number of times that you would say fuck in a movie. Because I know it's like Scarface or The Godfather, one of those like was an insane amount of F-bombs dropped in the movie, like so many. And I feel like they were competing with that. They're like, how many F-bombs can we drop in this movie? Because it was a lot. I lost count.
If I wrote a movie, it'd probably be the
I have
same.
to say, I was thinking about you. So I'm like, Zada, if for no other reason, Zada would love this movie because of the number of times they said fuck. Okay,
I fucking love the word
I
fuck.
fucking love it.
Yeah.
So, but we went to the movies and then we went to be like, we met up with some of his friends from work and they have a boat. So we went out and got to get on the water. And I did the little thing where, they pull the tube behind the boat. Is that what it's called?
It's called tubing.
I figured it was something
Have you never
simple.
tubed?
I did one time when I was young, like literally when I was like probably like 10 or 11 years old. One time. And I think
it's a lot more fun when you're 10 years old, FYI, because now it hurts. So I had to retire from tubing about 2 years ago.
The kids were doing it, and Peyton, Dante's daughter, went to the lake with us too, and so she wanted to go. And she's like, I don't want to go by myself though, because she didn't know anybody. There were other kids there, but she didn't know them. They were his co-workers' kids.
Yeah, that's always
so
awkward.
She wanted to go and she wanted to do it, but she didn't want to go alone. And so I was like, okay, well, and of course Dante's not going to do it. Dante can't even swim. So he's your typical black guy.
He really can't swim at all?
He can't swim.
Oh.
Even with a life jacket on, he's still I don't know how you sink with a life jacket. But he figured out how to do it. So, yeah.
I don't even know what to say about that.
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Bless his heart.
Well, Al, as an Al Mack from the Kid Craddock Show, has a pool and doesn't know how to swim.
It's
I
a
said,
thing.
what do you do? What do you do? It was like, I just don't go where I can't touch. I was like, oh my God.
Dante will go and he'll put his feet in and he'll stand, but he won't go past like his kneecaps or like,
because he can't swim. I'd be scared too.
Mid thigh. That's as far as he's gonna go. And he'll go on the boat. He always wears his life jacket, and I'm like, what good does that do if you still sink with a life jacket on? But whatever.
Yeah.
So he was not tubing. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So I got on it, and I did. They were probably taking it easy on me because this old lady was out there, but I didn't get thrown off. I stayed on the whole time, so I was very proud of myself. But oh my gosh, is that a workout? It is definitely an upper body workout.
Skiing is even harder.
Yeah, well, I haven't been skiing, but I haven't.
I'm talking water skiing.
Oh yeah, I haven't.
So is sexual skiing too, but water skiing is exhausting.
I've never done that before, but this was a lot of fun. I definitely I want to go again, like really soon. But Dante has this thing where he just doesn't tell me whenever his friends want us to go out to the lake. And last time he did it, he got in trouble, which I think that's why another reason he was making up for it, because he waited until we were on our evening walk to tell me, oh, Elliot wanted us to go out to the lake with them. I was like, when? He's like, well, tonight. I was like right now? Why are we on a walk if we could be in the lake? Oh my gosh, I was so mad. And so
because he can't swim.
I know. It's
not
as
important to him.
It's not. But
he
I was
does like to fish, but
if
people are tubing, they're not fishing.
No, he's not.
Yeah, we run into that.
So this last time I told Elliot's wife, I was like, you can't tell Dante anymore. You have to tell me.
Right, yeah, go through me.
You have to tell me so I know that y'all are going to be out here and we're gone. So she's like, well, the next time we're coming out here is, what's the next?
Labor Day.
Labor Day. She's like, we're coming out here Labor Day weekend. I was like, we will be here.
Yeah.
At least one of those days we're coming out here. So I asked him, and he said that he was going to try to even like, he has I think a friend that rents out an RV, has an RV that he rents out, and so he's going to rent out the RV so we can actually go down there and stay.
We better get your spot now because it's a holiday weekend. They go quick.
Yeah.
They go quick. Yeah, but yay, fun.
I'm so excited. So that was fun. That was a positive thing. The only other thing I have to share. So we have these new neighbors. All right, they have probably been living next to us for like 4 or 5 months now. It could be more than that. My time, I can't tell time very well. So it could be longer than that. But they haven't been living next to us very long. Okay, but they have this dog. Of course, they got it when it was a puppy and it was cute, because that's what people do, and then it gets bigger and they don't care about it anymore. So it stays out back.
Barking.
And it has, obviously, they have like a covered awning, like a drive covered awning thing. And so it's not like out in the sun or anything, but it's just outside in its little area, and it stays there, and they don't ever do anything with it. So it barks nonstop, literally nonstop. Anytime that I am home, I hear the dog barking. Anytime, I'm glad that I wear earplugs at night anyways, but anytime before I put those in,
sell this thing. I don't remember what it's called. I'll have to ask Rick, because Rick's mom had a dog, next door neighbor, a dog problem like that too. And she bought this thing that when the dog you aim it at their house where the dog's coming from, and it's like a sonar thing or something. And when the dog barks, it affects them.
Oh, really?
And so they don't bark because they realize it's a problem.
I'm going to have to look into that.
I don't remember what it does, but it does something to them.
Yeah.
Because that's a problem.
It really is.
It's such a rude thing to do.
I mean,
you feel bad for the dog.
Yeah.
But that's an asshole neighbor.
It really is. And I understand that dogs bark. I understand that. Okay. But when a dog is barking literally nonstop, like oh my gosh, I can't. I can't.
And y'all live in town though. So I bet you could get the city to deal with it if they don't deal with it. I mean, you hate to be that person.
I was putting in my earplugs the other night because I was about to go to sleep anyways, and I sleep with earplugs in, but the dog was barking. I was like, I do not know how. I was telling Dante, I don't know how you deal with that dog barking. He's like, oh, it drives me crazy. I was like, these neighbors. I was like, why did the other neighbors have to move out? And he was like, oh, that old man died. I was like,
never
okay,
mind.
I'm sorry.
He gets a pass.
But still,
yeah,
that was so rude of him.
How dare him die? That was like our neighbor died, and I didn't know for a year.
Aw.
Yeah, the guy next door, the old guy. Aww. They yelled at me one time. Yeah, he did.
R.I.P., dude.
I know, bless his heart. I did check on them though. During the great freeze of Texas a few years ago, I brought them food, and he looked at me like I was crazy because he was always so rude to me. But I knew he was older, you know. And speaking of that, we had to take a pot pie break because I literally started a pot pie before we started recording. This is where we are in life. It's a weeknight, y'all. Rick gets hangry. And so I told my son to check on it, but he has ADHD and he forgets. So I told him to set an alarm on his phone, but I'm pretty sure he forgot that too. So then I texted him a few minutes ago. I'm like, check on my pot pie, dude. Like, what's up? I'm on red. He hadn't even looked.
He just left you on delivered.
Yeah. He's in video game world.
Yeah.
So I need to check on my pot
when you
pie
got-
before I do my catching
Go
up.
rescue that pot pie.
Yeah. So chicken pot pie is safe, y'all.
Yay.
Did he think to look at it? No, he did not. Did he forget about it until I came in the room?
Oh my gosh.
Yes, he did.
And you were so specific with on your like, this is what I need you to do, dude.
ADHD is a bitch, y'all.
Tell you what.
Bless his heart. We're really working on trying to work on this whole. I know last week I told a story too of the ADHD. It's just a constant thing. I mean, it's not technically his fault, but we got to work on it. You know. As far as my catching up, we can do text, and we can do my text.
Yeah, text from Zada.
Yay! And I might just kind of make this flow into our topic because it's based off of one of these texts, actually.
Yeah.
The first one I know, ghost. About being a ghost.
Mm-hmm. Ghost clothes, ghost carrying a purse.
Okay, y'all. So, I don't really watch TV, but what I do watch is TikTok. And I love TikTok. And maybe I have ADHD. That would make sense. And anyway, so on TikTok, I have, it knows your algorithm. So once it realizes you like something, it starts shoving it down your throat. So I watched like one thing of the show Ghost. Like not the movie Ghost, but it's a TV show Ghost. I think I brought it up here once before, maybe on the other podcast. But anyways, it's about these people that own an Airbnb and the house ends up being haunted, long story short. And so all the ghosts that are in the house, they have to wear what they died in.
Yeah. I remember
Right?
this,
Yeah. So they have to wear what they died in, right? So I watch the show and I always think that. But now I always think, what if I die in this?
What if I die in this? I know, right?
Hey, I'm
That's
a
why
little
you gotta
stupid.
Stay looking
I'm
lit.
gonna be walking around with my, nipples showing because I don't have a bra on, or I'm gonna have a bra on and that sucks worse,
Right?
Or I'm gonna be wearing like jeans. I'd be pissed if Ghost Me had to wear jeans.
Oh my gosh, I would too. That's why I hardly ever wear them because no,
because you might
absolutely not.
Am
Not
I-
wearing that for eternity.
Right, and I've already had a fear for years of dying outside of Texas. I don't know why. I'm gonna be pissed if I don't die in Texas. That is what it is.
I haven't thought about that, but I think I would.
phobia added.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah,
Appreciate that.
You're welcome. Every time that I go out of state and I cross it, I've even posted this on Facebook a few times. I'll be like, made it back to Texas, not gonna die in Arkansas. And what if it was a shitty state? What if you died in like freaking New York? No offense, people. I'm sure it's lovely. Let me pick a different state. Nebraska. We have a lot of listeners in New York, actually. And I've never been there, so I don't really know anything about New York. Nor have I been in Nebraska, but I have probably never met anyone from Nebraska either. But I don't know. Anyways, you pick. It's just not Texas, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I meant to die in Texas.
No things like Texas.
So my other thought on that was, what if you're carrying a purse? Because one of the characters is not a main character. I don't even know how many episodes she's been on because I don't ever watch an actual whole episode. I just watch a TikTok. But one of the characters that was introduced later in the series, I know that, she died holding her purse. So she has her purse, and her purse had a piece of candy in it. And the ghosts can't eat any real food, but they can taste ghost candy.
Wow.
Yeah, so they always are, but she has to hold it.
This is the whole.
It's like part of her ghost, I guess.
Can you imagine if you were a boyfriend holding your girlfriend's purse
Oh
and
my
you died?
God, I didn't even think about that.
Gonna hold this thing the rest of my eternity.
Yeah, or what if you're holding a dildo? You got to walk around with a dildo in your hand all the time.
What if it wasn't in your hand?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry.
See where I'm going with this? These are so many things to consider.
This is one of those reasons we shouldn't be put together, honestly.
So that was one of the texts I sent you. Because I'm sitting there thinking, if I get stuck with a fucking purse,
Oh my gosh,
I'm going to be mad. And then now I think every time I grab my purse, or what's in this purse that as a ghost I might want.
Right? I gotta put some candy in that bitch.
I mean, basically, that's what everybody was talking about on the show. And here's my other ghost thing. I sent you another text, right? And this one was ghost ladies, okay? And I sent you that text like 3 days after the other text, I think, right? So I was taking Zoe to work on Sunday, I think. And Saturday or Sunday. It was Saturday. And I was taking her to work, and I had to go pick her up. And she works just down the road in downtown. And on the way from my house, I'm in the historic district, so I'm in the older homes, and you drive only past older homes to get to downtown. I mean, it's all part of the historic district. So there's this one street that I take to cut into, and to into downtown, and there's 2 houses on it. One's a Airbnb or like an event catering thing or something, and then the one next to it is a home. And I mean, the other one used to be a home too. And they're supposed to be 2 of the most haunted homes in Waxahachie. Like, they're known for having a ton of stuff going on there. And one of the homes, not the Airbnb one, but the one next to it, I am in love with. It is possibly my 3rd favorite house in Waxahachie, and that says a lot because Waxahachie has beautiful homes.
Yeah, it does.
And this is the one you may know that it's beautiful, perfect. And then in the front yard, on the other side of the sidewalk, like between the sidewalk and the street, they plant Texas wildflowers every year and let it go wild, and it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
So it's supposed to be super haunted, right? So I'm going to pick up Zoe, and I'm driving by that house, and it's like 11 o'clock at night. And I'm driving by that house, and I see 2 ladies on the front porch. And there's no car out front running. I mean, it's a very quiet neighborhood. And there's nothing, and I'm like, where are they go? Like, there's no car there for them to walk out to the front yard. And I'm just thinking as I'm driving. And I'm like, don't really think much more about it. And then I turn. I mean, literally, this went through my head like 2 seconds. Oh, I wonder what they're, And I turn, I watch the road, and then I look back at the house. I don't even know why. They're gone. They're not there. There's no women on this porch.
Bum, bum, bum.
There's nobody outside. There's no door shut. Nothing has changed. There wasn't enough time for them to have gone in or out of the door. Like, literally, this is seconds. From the time I saw them till they were gone, a total of 15 seconds. And everything. And so I was just like, what the hell just happened? And then I thought, I am losing my mind. And so I circled. I went back around. There's no women. No, there's no car. There's no activities.
Ghost ladies.
So I'm pretty sure I saw a ghost, or 2 of them to be precise. I'm just saying. It kind of scared me. And then I had to wait for Zoe, and I got there, and then in downtown Waxahachie on Saturday nights in the summer, they do like a summer bash every Saturday night in downtown where they have like the rail yard thing, and they'll do a concert, or they'll do like whatever. They'll face paint. I don't know. They'll do something. Mm-hmm. And this last weekend was a Taylor Swift cover band. And shit got wild.
I bet.
It was so packed. And so when I got there, Zoe was supposed to be off at 11, and she didn't get off till like 12:20 because they were so busy. She was like, I have never seen so many people there for a band that's not really the band. And she was like, and there were beads everywhere because of everybody's friendship bracelets.
Yeah.
And she was like, and the parents could not get enough beer. Like they had enough. And it was really hot. So she didn't get off until really late because, fake Taylor Swift was there. So
yeah,
that
big
changed,
deal.
That changed absolutely everything. Okay, what else is on my list? Anything else that
you have? Boat teamwork and relationships, the great potato debate.
Okay. So the great
and
potato
I have to
debate.
say this, that I love that she had put the great and then the emoji potato and then debate, and then she said, that's a potato.
I started thinking, is she going to think that's a turd?
Very happy that you made that
Yeah.
very clear to me.
Okay, so I have this thing that if Rick does not like anything that I cook, which he really does like everything, but every once in a while he'll make a little funny comment or whatever. But once you say something, I don't cook it anymore. Not just,
Bye-bye.
I'm petty. So one time he made a comment.
Say it isn't so.
I know, it's shocking. And so one time he made I taught him how to make gravy. Let me just put this out here. I taught the man how to make gravy.
You did.
And he's gotten very good at it.
Mm-hmm.
He loves gravy, so he makes it a lot when we didn't live together. Once he learned, he was all over it.
Yeah.
So we're moving together, and he just thought his gravy was superior.
Mm-hmm.
And I am fine with you thinking that because you can now make it every time we eat it.
Right. You're in
So
charge of the gravy now.
I have
Congratulations.
not made gravy since he moved in on principle. And if he doesn't make it, we don't get gravy because you're better at it. So that's your job now.
Can't make inferior gravy for everybody.
Let
That
'em
would
all
not be
down.
right.
Right, yeah. So that's what I do. So when we were in San Saba this last time, he was talking shit about my mashed potatoes. Yeah.
No, he did not.
Yes, he did.
Oh, snap.
And I said, and so then my sister is over there, and my sister's like getting in the conversation, like talking like she's the queen of potatoes. And he's acting like he's the king of potatoes. And I was like, first off, I've never even seen either of y'all make potatoes. Well, now Rick will cook some. He doesn't mash potatoes. He does an oven potato. And I'm like, I've never even seen y'all cook potatoes. And like, I know people that don't ever cook potatoes because it takes work and, it takes time. And I cook them like twice a week because y'all love mashed potatoes. And you're telling me you don't like my mashed potatoes? And he was like, no, I like them. You just don't always season them. You don't always taste them. You just serve them without tasting them. I was like, well, you are now making all the potatoes going forward.
Congratulations.
It didn't work out as well as the gravy. I broke and made it the other night.
No, did you?
Yeah, because I made dinner and it needed potatoes.
Right.
And then the next night I was like, I'm eating these. I'm making these potatoes.
And that's an easy fix.
But I did not make the gravy.
If you didn't, what do you add to potatoes? Salt and pepper?
Well, let me add this, okay? So they went through this back and forth. And then the next day, the potatoes came up again. And she tried to convince.
It was a hot topic, huh?
Yeah, and her husband tried to convince us that box mashed potatoes were the same thing and just as good.
Oh my God.
What? I turned to Rick. I said, "This is who you're complaining about my potatoes to? The fuck?"
I can't even.
So that was the great potato debate. It was. I was a little offended, y'all.
His Texas card has been revoked.
I was like, what the fuck? Now, Rick didn't agree. In fact, we were at the grocery store the other night. He was like, I'll forever take back what I said about the potatoes. I really do love your potatoes. It was just like twice you forgot to season them. Like, they were still good, but they just weren't as good as you normally make. I was like,
Oh, yeah, let's backtrack.
Okay, yeah, backpedaling. We're going to forgive him. The thing about the boat and the teamwork is that Rick and I, he lost his boat in the Great Fire of February at his mom's house.
Tragic.
Yeah.
Tragic.
And I told him that's what he gets for keeping anything in his mom's house.
I mean.
And so he lost his boat. So it's been 6 months without a boat, and he's losing his fucking mind. But he hadn't gotten his insurance check on it because they were dragging their feet. And because his mom lost a bunch of stuff, so she had to list her stuff, and it was a lot. And because it burned down like a garage thing, so there's a lot of stuff in it. And so it's taken a while. So he still hadn't gotten the check, but he's finally like, I got to get a boat. This is taking too long. So he finally finds a boat, and he goes and he picks it up on Friday, and he's just giddy as could be. So he worked on it all weekend. And then on Sunday, we go to the lake, and we're only going to go for an hour so that he can, make sure everything works on the boat and everything's good and, figure out if he needs to buy more stuff for the boat. I don't know. So the two of us take the boat out. And I kind of have two stories from this. So we go to take the boat out. And when we do this, it takes teamwork when it's the two of us. I pull the boat out of the water, and then he takes it away, and he goes and he waits for me, and I get in the boat, and then we go do our things. But even when we're on the lake, we just have different jobs. Mm-hmm. It's a team building exercise. It really is. Yeah. Owning a boat, you're going to hate the boat and each other by the time it's over, or it is going to bond everybody. And Rick and I have had a boat, last 6 years, so we do good with the boat.
Yeah,
it works out really well for us. But I was this weekend thinking, as we were spending time together, what a good team building exercise it was for us. But also going out on the lake with them, and it's just the two of us, and it's such a different vibe than when it's with us and it's with other people or the kids. It's just very intimate. You're stuck together the whole time. And you've got to agree to do things that, he might not want to swim, he might want to fish, vice versa, whatever. Or I'm hot right now, can we go ahead and jump in the water? Or can we do this? Or we can, And so I just thought this is something in our relationship that goes really well 99% of the time.
Yeah.
Once or twice, we're going to get a little fussy. Like the time
rock
he wouldn't
the boat
let me
a little
pee.
bit.
He wouldn't let me off to pee, and it was wintertime, so I couldn't go pee. He wanted me to hang my ass over the side of the boat and pee. It was nighttime. We were night fishing. But I was like, no, I don't even have good knees. I'm going to fucking fall.
I'm going to end up in that water.
So he was like, yeah, well, I'll just hold your hands. I said, do you think I can perform as you're holding my hands and my ass is leaning over the side of the boat?
You're really painting a picture here.
I was like, I'm a big girl. I'm going in the water for sure. And we don't even have the ladder. If I go in the water, I'm fucked, So that was one of them.
Paddle to shore.
Speak of the devil, I'm pretty sure I just heard him come in the door. Mm-hmm. So that was one thing. So the other part of this was that whenever we get to the lake, we are just going to go for an hour. That was the plan, to check everything out. And so he gets the boat into the water. I am the one that pulls the truck out of the water. I go park it, and then I come back and I get in the boat. So as I'm getting there, there's this guy, and I don't see the guy. There's a boat, and it's a John boat, and it's pretty beat up, and it's got a little, I always forget the name of them. I just had this conversation with you, too. It's got the little motor on the boat, a trolling motor. It's got the little trolling motor on the boat, and it's a cheap little, small, inexpensive one. And I see it, and I think to myself, oh, he's going to have a good time. He's going out fishing, So I go get in the boat with Rick, and we're on the boat and doing our thing. And I see this guy on the lake, maybe an hour later, and he has the boat with the trolling motor and one of those patio umbrellas that you buy at like Walmart that you're supposed to put in the middle of your patio table.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. He's got that on the boat for an umbrella, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, if it's windy, probably not going to work out.
You're going all over that way.
Yeah, but for what he needed, it wasn't windy. It worked out good. Well, so I just thought, that's awesome. And then I tried to talk to him as I left because he came in as we came in, but he didn't understand English. But I tried. Rick was like, stop trying to talk to everyone you see. But the reason I bring that up is because as I'm watching him this weekend with his boat, and he just loves this little boat, I mean, it's not little, but he loves his boat. And when we first started dating, it had been less than a year, it was a few months we were dating, and he got a horse. And he had never owned a horse before. Like, he grew up riding uncle's horses, whatever, but he had never owned one himself. He always lived in town or whatever. And they didn't have money and such. And so we went horseback riding out in Rocket, where I grew up horseback riding with my brother and my mother. And we were literally horseback riding in a field next to a road that I grew up riding with my brother and my mom. So we're riding. In fact, that's how he knew where to go, because I was like, come here, this is where we used to ride. So we're riding, and he gets a second horse. That's when we're riding. And this truck drives by, and this little boy just like turns around, and he's looking out the back window, and he's like watching us, and he just, this is cool type thing. He's like 5'6", something like that. And Rick says, that was me. That was me when I was a little boy. I wanted so bad to be the guy on the horse. And, I don't know that I ever thought I'd be the guy on the horse, but I'm the guy on the horse now. And maybe someday that kid is going to be the guy on the horse. Aww. And I've always think of that conversation.
Yeah.
And because he's just come so far. And Rick just came from so little and has everything about him is self-made. And the beginning stages of life was rough, and he really should have been in prison a few times. And so he just turned his whole life around. And, and he's done very good for himself. And so anytime he has a win, I really overthink it probably, because I know how much harder it was for him to get to where he is. Mm-hmm. And so, we had a boat before, but he didn't get that boat new, and it was older. It paid cash. I think he traded something for it. I don't know. Maybe he paid cash for it. And he really loved his other boat, and it was a nice boat. But this boat isn't a new boat. It's beautiful, and it's got all these little special things. He definitely upgraded. And he got this new trolling motor, and it's got satellite GPS and like a remote. Like, he can sit in his fishing chair and not have to get up to control his trolling motor.
Wow.
He loves that. And then if he just wants to it calls it anchor it, but no anchor comes out of it. It's just the GPS makes it stay where it is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know how all this works, but
Technology these days, man.
So he was all excited, and he's like checking out all his gadgets, and he's doing all his things, and we get out and we swim for a while, and we're just like hanging out. We're just having a good day. We're listening to music. We're just having a good day on the lake together, and chilling. And I see this guy on the boat that he's made for himself, and I think to myself, Rick necessarily didn't have that, but when I met him, he had a John boat, and it had 2 bullet holes in the bottom of it. I don't know why. Someone had given it to him. And it had 2 bullet holes in the bottom of it, and he patched the holes, and then he fixed the boat the best he could. He painted it, and he put a new floor on it, and it's a John boat though. It's just a little metal boat, and he did everything he could so he could go fishing, and he could have a safe boat to fish in. And so he went from that to the next boat to this boat, and now, I just thought this guy looking at Rick is the same thing as the boy looking at us on the horses, but it's the guy on the boat. And it just made me think that just anyone can do anything. Yeah. It's not about Rick. It is this case, but anyone can do anything. Yeah. And I thought about myself and about where I was 15 years ago. And 15 years ago, I was still married to the kid's dad, or right at the beginning of the divorce, somewhere around there. And I had lived hand to mouth for as long as I'd been with my ex-husband. We never had money, and we never could get ahead, and we were always robbing Peter to pay Paul, and we were always going negative before we got paid again, and it was just, you know, calling bills and pushing them back and begging for extensions, and you know, it was just, it's horrible. That is so stressful, and particularly when you have children, it is very, very stressful. And I was doing everything I could do. I never lost a job. I had a good paying job. I went to work every day. I did really, I wasn't the problem. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean because my ex-husband has really turned things around, but that was the world I was living in. And then I got divorced, and I had to start all over again with 4 children, 2 special needs. So, I moved into an apartment that had broken windows and the back door went to nowhere. You'd fall out of a 2-story window if you open the back door. I had drug dealers coming to the house looking for the previous tenants. I had to pull a gun on 2 people. It was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough. And there were times I didn't eat. I could afford to feed the kids and not myself. Or I needed gas money and I'd have to go sell something to get gas money to get to work for 3 days or whatever the case is. And then I'm like, okay. And then a few years later it got better, and a few years later it got better, and a few years later it got better, and now it's completely different. I'm not just on my feet, but I'm thriving. It's my boat too. You know what I mean? And I've had a nice vehicle for years, and I've had my shit together for years, but I had to work really hard to get there, and I had to really focus. And the point is that anything can turn around. Yeah. It is just absolutely never too late to turn things around. Yeah. And that can mean so much. It can be financial freedom. It can be, a relationship issue. It could be children, you overwhelmed by your children. Things change. Time heals wounds, and it can make them worse. You're the master of your destiny. Yeah. You can't maybe fix everything overnight, and you can't always have everything you want, but you can make the most of what you can do and with what you have. So, and that's another lesson from Rick, because whenever he was growing up, they lived in a lot of trailers, in trailer parks, not in neighborhoods necessarily. And trailer parks are a different world. If you've ever lived in one, it is, there's nothing like it. And I lived in one time. There's nothing like it. And it's a rough community a lot of times, not always. But the one he's from was. Yeah. And so, how our yard is always perfect, and he's always got these perfect lines, and he's all into the yard and the house upkeep on the outside and that kind of stuff. Well, I asked him about that because I was like, have you always been like this? Why are you so crazy about this? He was like, when I was a boy, I couldn't control where I lived. That was my parents doing. I had no control over living in a trailer or whatever, but I could make sure that we had the best yard in the neighborhood. That was the only thing I could do, is make sure we looked like clean people from the outdoors. Yeah. I had to make sure we looked clean. And they didn't have money for clothes, so he always wore white Hanes T-shirts because you could get a package of 5. Mm-hmm. So he'd get 5 shirts instead of 1, but they'd all be the same white Hanes T-shirt. Yeah. And so he would iron them because he wanted to look clean and crisp, Mm-hmm. And I just thought, again, that's just another perfect example of working with what you have or what your ability is. Whereas you have other people that are going to go out and they got $100 for clothes and they spend $100 on one item, and then what do you wear? Yeah. And where it makes more sense to go out there and get, swallow your pride and get that package of Hanes T-shirts for $10 and then save that money. Yeah. So you can pay that damn electric bill or whatever the case is, And so, I hope you understand where I'm coming from with that. I'm sure you have things in your life where you have overcome something, or it might be the lotion. I'm being serious.
We'll see.
I'm absolutely being serious though, because if you
different battles for different people.
We all have different battles, and so your goal might not be my goal. But it's just a matter of what you're doing to reach it. So you're going through therapy and you're doing the things that you need to do to reach your end goal, and your end goal is good mental health. Yeah, which really should be all our mental goals.
Yeah, it really should.
So we're going to do a little summer wind down. It's so sad.
I was trying to do a sound effect, but I'm not so good at it.
And, we're in Texas, so, summer's not really over here.
No, it's not. It's just...
I'll be in water for the next 2 months. Just
You're going to have to drag me out of it, okay? I get in water when it's freezing freaking cold, so...
I have been in water every weekend except one this summer.
You know what? Why don't you just rub it in my face, Zada?
I am so sorry.
I appreciate it.
And I've tried everybody of water. So we're going to do a little summer wind down to just kind of talk about that because we kind of did our little mini summer series. And part of the reason that we did the summer series is it turns out in the summer, we're real busy.
It's difficult in the summer to get together.
Like we want to have guests, but you have to be able to plan for guests. And we're like literally legit, like, you got time today? Nope. Do you? Yep. Oh, I'm not feeling it today. Or this came up or whatever whatever it is. And so that's how we ended up with the summer series. And I would kind of like to hear feedback from people about, did you like that? Do you like that better than topics? Do you like topics better? Or do you like mixing it up like we did? I mean, like, I'd like a little feedback on what you thought that was good. Or maybe we'll just do it just during summer again. I don't know.
We've also thought about, because last year we took off in between seasons around September, October. And we thought about, since summer is kind of a slower time, a lot of people don't have as regular schedules. So would it be better for us to take our time off between seasons during the summer, or maybe during like winter break at school, just depending on when it would be best.
We're kind of curious what y'all's listening thing is. So if you want to send us a message, you can send it to our Instagram, if you are on Instagram, which is...
It's Two Sides and the Truth on Instagram.
And then, or you can find us on Facebook, and on Facebook, it's Two Sides and the Truth, or under Zada Owens on Facebook, or Z Mamacita on Instagram. I'll answer to Kelly.
I'm Kelly Lady Pearl on Instagram, and our email is twosidesinthetruthpodcast@outlook.com.
When was the last time you checked that?
It's been a minute.
Okay.
But I will.
The other thing is,
That's because nobody ever emails me.
Well, the other thing is that you can message us directly now on Buzzsprout. So, like, you see the thing where it says email me, then you can just click on that and you can email us. But, any feedback, any ideas, anything that you'd like to see or whatever the case is, we're always open to new ideas and changes. Yeah. And the podcast is always going to evolve because our life's evolving. And we're not just podcasters. We're regular people.
Regular in quotations.
I mean, as we can be. But I also have to fit in recording with Al, and, I have a large family, and I have a needy boyfriend who gets hangry, and, so.
And I have mental health issues.
She's crazy. No kidding.
So there's that.
Whatever. And I just can't seem to stay out of water. So it makes scheduling things very difficult. So a little feedback on that. But as far as summer wind down, we had talked about doing things like a meet and greet. We had talked about doing these things. We definitely now know summer is not the time to do that.
Yeah, definitely not the time.
We couldn't even get together to see each other.
I think we hung out one weekend this summer.
Or maybe two. Was there not two?
Well, there was two. No, really, that we actually went out and got to go shopping and got to go to lunch together and hung out. That was one time.
Yeah. See what we're talking about here? We have no time.
Yeah.
And I didn't hang out with anyone else. There's not like there was someone else I was running around town with.
Oh, yeah? There wasn't?
There actually was not. No. And I hardly see anyone. And Mary has been inviting me like crazy places. And I wish I could tell Mary's story right now. I can't. And it's a good one. Can I? No, I can't. I'll run it past her. It's a good one.
Oh, man. I want to know now.
It's not juicy for everybody else. It was just kind of if you ever, when you were a teenager, if you ever just had something that'd be so cool that happened and it didn't happen, whatever. But now you're an adult and that so cool thing happens.
Oh.
She called me the other day and I was like, what? We were teenage Zada. And because we were best friends as teenagers.
Yeah.
We've known each other a long time. And teenage Zada and Mary were both giggly over the phone. And I immediately ran in the garage and told Rick, and he did not understand the excitement at all.
Of course not.
It was a good one. And but so we basically realized we're just a little stretched thin in the summertime.
Yeah.
And so that makes it a little hard. Because, I'm not giving up my summer.
No.
Because I need a schedule to record. I like recording. I love the podcast.
Yes.
But I like my time with my family.
Yep.
And my girlfriends. And
we got to find the balance.
We do. We have to find the balance. The other thing, I'm going to say that my favorite thing about this summer was how much time I did get to spend in Summer Saga. And it was different because it wasn't with my girlfriends, but I got to see my family a lot, like my extended family.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, part of it was because I was losing a cousin and I was trying to be present for that. And I hate that is how it works out, you know. But it was nice to see my family. Yeah. So that was my big takeaway.
I very much enjoyed living vicariously through you.
Well, that was your favorite thing?
I liked the stories. I liked being able to just live it through you. So I didn't get to do much this summer, but
next summer you're on revenge mode.
I'm telling you, I have made the decision. I'm gonna be making some life changes. It's another thing I've been talking about with my therapist is switching up some things.
Getting out of your comfort zone.
Yes, and so she has, got the wheels spinning in my head on what I want to do and things that I think that would make me feel more fulfilled and things that would just serve me better, and. Because I'd spend a lot of time like trying to do good, obviously, with my job and the things that I do. And so just kind of like branching out, doing different things, or at least, thinking about some other things that would make me feel good, that I would be comfortable doing, that would kind of stretch the boundaries of my comfort zone a little bit, and things that was just like, you never know until you try.
Well, I have to say on that, I just had my 10-year anniversary at my job on Sunday. Sunday was 10 years with my company. And prior to that, I was in retail management. So, I was in upper management. I wasn't having to do the grunt work or any of that kind of stuff. But it was hard. It was a lot of horrible hours. It was a lot of work. And I missed a lot of important moments in life because of it. But I didn't know what else I could do. And I was really good at that. So it wasn't just that I didn't know what else I could do. I didn't think I'd ever be good at anything else like that, if that makes sense, because I was really naturally good at it. But it was not good for my health. I was missing all these family things. It didn't pay enough. It just wasn't serving my life anymore. And I had to take a leap of faith to try something new. And I started a whole new career, a whole new world. And just the other day, you and I were talking about, things and my job and that kind of stuff. And you were like, I need your job because I have these great hours and, such. And I thought, this is a good example. I'm not saying it has to do with you changing a job, but just trying something new.
Yeah.
This was I went from children's retail to, construction. I went far left. Completely different world. Love it. So glad I did it. Yeah. So I always think it's a good idea. And us doing podcasting, you doing podcasting in particular.
Yeah.
Because I'm just a natural talker, but this really takes you out of your...
Yeah, this was one of the things that I did to take me out of my comfort zone. It was something I just discussed with my therapist, and she was like, look, I'm all for, you branching out and trying new things, because you never know what is going to be that one thing that's going to be your niche. Like that's good, or however you say it. Like that's really going to scratch that itch that you haven't been able to scratch.
Right.
You never know. And she always, like, in this last time I talked to her, she reminded me, like, you are so young. You have so much life ahead of you. And look at where you're at. You are in such a good position. Like you are with a partner who supports you mind, body, and soul, who would do anything for you, who just encourages you to do anything that you need to do. So you are financially stable. You don't have anything that you have to worry about. You could take risks.
Right. You don't have mouths to feed.
You don't have any kids. You don't have any responsibility. The only responsibility that I have is the things that I choose to be responsible for, like my job. Like I love having a job. I love being able to make a difference. I love doing that.
Right.
So that's my only responsibility. Yeah. So I have so much room to take risk and to just dive into the deep end of the pool and figure out, what's going to float, and
that's what I tell my kids all the time. You're only young once. Travel and try new things, meet new people.
Yeah.
So
I really feel like a new era of my life is blossoming, and I'm pretty excited about it.
I always look at my life in there's different sections of your life, and so some people may think like 20s, 30s, 40s. I think a lot of people probably look at it that way. I don't. Mine didn't align that way. Mine are before kids, after the divorce, before Rick, after Rick. These are different stages of my life.
Yeah.
And so they don't correlate necessarily with like a 30 to 40. But when I was 32 is when I got divorced. And I'm 49 now. And when I was 32 and I got divorced, or 32 or 33, my whole world changed.
Yeah.
Everything changed. And it was scary. And everyone thought I was crazy. Like, they just could not believe I was doing it with 4 children. Everyone thought I was crazy. And I was. Like, it was hard, you know.
Yeah.
But so worth it. So worth it. And, you know, I felt like I would have never been authentically me.
Yeah.
And so I think that, you know, whatever path you choose to take, you just have to stay true to what makes you happy.
Yeah.
And that's really, you know, and some people, this could be something different. Because I find that people my age, a lot of times you get empty nester syndrome, and then you're like, now what? And they don't have an outlet, and they don't have a hobby, and, you know, and I think that people at my age need to look at getting a hobby, and they need to find a talent. And, you know, your hobby can't be go get drunk at the bar. You got to have a real hobby. Like, you got to do something that you can afford to do, because hobbies can be expensive.
Yeah.
And find your talent. And you might have to try a few things to get there. And it's okay to fail at some of those things. So, like, my mom started painting in her 50s. She had never painted a day in her life. I'd never seen her doodle. Like, she just wasn't into that stuff. She won the first art contest she ever got into. So anything is possible.
It really is.
Yeah.
Never know.
Kind of goes back to the thing talking about Rick and his boat.
I know.
And his horse.
You're the kid in the truck right now, and
I
you want to be
know.
the man on the horse. And
Yes.
I'm gonna get on that dang horse.
Yeah. Well, come on. We got one. We got 2. We got 2 horses, and we got a boat.
Literally and figuratively. I'm going to be the girl on the horse.
Yeah. Zoe was so funny because she was like, I was raised on horses, but their dad's nothing like that. So we never did that stuff together. That's very much, I have a separate life with my mom's family than with my ex-husband. And so Zoe never really grew up riding horses. And so we go out to the ranch, and she's going to ride the horse. And she was like, Mom, I need you to take pictures of me. We're going to have like an aesthetic. Like, we're going to, you know, I'm going to be country girl on the horse. And I was like, but you don't know how to. I don't think you understand what you're going to look like on this horse. Because you don't know how to ride the horse. It doesn't usually come across looking like a Instagram photo.
Yeah.
And so she was like, oh, no, it'll be fine. And she gets on there, and the pictures are hilarious. She is terrified. The horse keeps running into the fence. Rick's over there trying to help her. It didn't go well.
How do you move this thing?
But the point was she tried.
There you go.
The point was she tried. And did she post the funny picture? She did.
That's what I'm talking about.
And so that's what I'm saying, too. So I think that we all can get out of our comfort zones and do something. So maybe that's our lesson of the summer.
Yeah.
Is get out of our comfort zone.
Get out your comfort zone. Get on that horse.
Yeah, get on that horse. Or, you know, save a horse, ride a cowboy. Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Whatever you want your horse to be.
Yeah. Well, that's all for today. Thank you for joining us. Maybe come back next week and bring a friend.
Yeah. And remember, there's always 3 sides to every story.
2 sides and the truth.
Bye.
Bye, y'all.